The Crumbling Empire of Fred Schebesta, Australia's self-titled Crypto King, an article written by Bennett Tomlin. Fred Schebesta, the founder and former CEO of Australian financial services comparison application Finder, self-describes as the Crypto King of Australia. He sold his over-the-counter trading desk to Alameda Research, which was then used to bank FTX. Finder is a financial services comparison application that allows users to compare different bank accounts, credit cards, or other services. Finder was founded by Schebesta, Frank Restuccia, and Jeremy Cabral. Schebesta stepped down as chief executive of Finder several days before the firm was sued for its Finder Earn product. Finder Earn allowed users to deposit their cash, which would then be converted into the stablecoin True Australian Dollars, and are subsequently used in a non-specified way to earn yield. True Australian Dollar isn't a commonly used stablecoin. The largest current holders are FTX, Celsius, and Crypto.com, based on blockchain analysis conducted by Protos. Both Celsius and Crypto.com previously offered a yield on True Australian Dollar. Finder hasn't disclosed who it partnered with to offer this product. Protos has reached out to Finder for clarification and will update if we hear back. Schebesta and Restuccia are the current directors of Finder based on corporate filings that Protos reviewed. John Orrock, who runs Future Now Ventures, used to be a director. Future Now Ventures is also a shareholder, along with non-correlated capital, Restuccia, Schebesta, Cabral, Perpetual Nominees Limited, Lord of W Holdings, and Restuccia Holdings. Lord of W Holdings is entirely owned by Schebesta, and Restuccia Holdings is entirely owned by Restuccia. Finder is also a shareholder in an entity called Hive Empire, of which Schebesta and Restuccia are directors. The other shareholder for Hive Empire is Hive Empire Investments, one of the investment funds related to Schebesta. Hive Empire was the entity which made a series of political donations in the 2021 to 2022 Australian election cycle. Shortly before this series of donations began, Schebesta argued to the legislature that Australia should insure cryptocurrency lending activities. In January 2022, Finder surveyed a variety of people in order to make a Bitcoin price prediction. It eventually settled on predicting a peak value of $93,717 for 2022. Finder later went back and quietly edited its prediction article. The primary corporate entity for Finder is Finder.com Pty Ltd, which used to be called Schebesta Pty Limited. Investment funds. Schebesta is also connected to a variety of different investment vehicles, though the full relationship between these entities is somewhat difficult to parse. Schebesta has previously described himself as the founder of Hive Empire Capital, and an archived version of his website reveals it invested in Animico brands, Iris Energy, HiveEx, and many others. Additionally, a press release from Balthazar reveals that Hive Empire Capital was also an investor in its token sale. Additionally, a press release from Balthazar reveals that Hive Empire Capital was also an investor in its token sale. There are several entities related to these investment activities. Distinguishing which one was used for specific investments is not always possible. These entities include Hive Empire Investments, formerly Restuccia Investments, which is entirely owned by Finder. Restuccia and Schebesta serve as directors. Hive Empire Ventures also featured Restuccia and Schebesta as directors, and lists Lord of W Holdings and Restuccia Holdings as shareholders. It was deregistered in 2022. The Hive Empire Capital entity was registered in 2021, and therefore can't be the Hive Empire Capital entity used to invest in Animico brands, Iris Energy, or HiveEx, as those investments occurred before this entity was incorporated, despite it sharing a name with its fund. This entity is also directed by Schebesta and Restuccia and entirely owned by Finder. The pair also have the Finder Ventures entity, formerly Hive Empire's Ventures IP, which is also directed by Schebesta and Restuccia, and owned by Finder. Previous shareholders were Against the Grain, owned by Cabral, and Lord of W Holdings, Restuccia Holdings, and Hive Empire Ventures, which was also deregistered. Identifying the specific purpose of each entity is complicated by this muddled history. The Finder Ventures website claims its portfolio includes HiveEx and the Finder app. HiveEx was also listed as one of the investments of Hive Empire Capital, back when that was the fund's name, and HiveEx corporate documents reveal that the now deregistered entity, Hive Empire Ventures, was a HiveEx shareholder. It's unclear how the current Find Ventures ever had HiveEx in its portfolio. The Finder Ventures website incorrectly claims that HiveEx was acquired by FTX in August 2020. HiveEx was actually acquired by Alameda Research. This inaccurate claim can also be seen on archived versions of the Hive Empire Capital website. Protos has reached out to Finder and Schebesta to explain this discrepancy. The Finder Ventures website also describes investing in an undisclosed Bitcoin mining operation. This is likely to be Iris Energy, an entity that Hive Empire Capital invested in and disclosed, though it's still unclear why Hive Empire Capital would disclose the investment while Finder Ventures wouldn't. Protos has reached out to Finder and Schebesta for clarification on this issue. Over-the-counter trading and banking. In 2018, Schebesta and Restuccia started HiveEx, an over-the-counter trading desk that used the Hive Empire Trading corporate entity. The entity was originally owned by Hive Empire Ventures, which is now deregistered. Shortly after starting this desk, Schebesta broadened his ambitions and used Lord of W Holdings to purchase a stake in local Australian bank Goldfields Money. HiveEx began advertising its ability to get other cryptocurrency companies access to banking. In August 2020, HiveEx was sold to Alameda Research for a mere $300,000 Australian dollars, and Sam Bankman-Fried was immediately made director of the entity. FTX would announce a few days later that HiveEx was a new way to deposit and withdraw from FTX. Eventually, the entity would be sold from Alameda Research to FTX Australia, and is now part of the bankruptcy proceedings for the combined FTX/Alameda Research enterprise. The FTX bankruptcy process ended up listing Goldfields Money as one of the banks that FTX-related entities used. The creditor matrix filed in the bankruptcy for FTX includes Finder, HiveEx, and Goldfields Money. NFTs. As previously mentioned, Hive Empire Capital was an investor in Balthazar's token sale. Balthazar's main product allows users to rent out play-to-earn NFTs to someone else who will use it to play. Balthazar's Twitter handle claims it's a decentralized autonomous organization, DAO, but it remains unclear how it's decentralized or autonomous. Its website states that if users want their NFTs back after lending them out, they can just get in touch with their Balthazar Lend account manager, and Balthazar will send their NFTs back within 48 hours, adding to concerns over true decentralization and anonymity. Protos has reached out to Balthazar to clarify how or if its organization is truly a DAO. Balthazar lists Schebesta as a co-founder on its website. Schebesta was a director for both the Balthazar Guild and Balthazar Capital corporate entities that were established in Australia. Both are now deregistered. Balthazar Capital was 51% owned by Hive Empire Capital and 49% owned by Covert Capital, which is owned by Balthazar CEO John Stefanidis and several other key executives for Balthazar. Balthazar Guild ownership was evenly split between Hive Empire Capital and Covert Capital. Since those Australian entities have been deregistered, it's not clear which corporate entities Balthazar now relies on. Protos has reached out to Balthazar to clarify. Brad Silver, who is head of trading for HiveEx, now leads partnerships and investor relations for Balthazar. Animico Brands, one of the portfolio investments for Hive Empire Capital, is listed as an advisor to Balthazar on its website and was the lead investor in its token sale. Other activities. Schebesta also uses the Schebesta Ventures entity, of which he and Restuccia serve as directors and Finder is the sole shareholder, to sell his Go Live book and course. Both promise to teach you how to develop your business idea. He also owns a 16 million Australian dollar mansion on the Sydney coast that he is referred to as his crypto castle, and that he rents out on Airbnb for $3,800 per night. Schebesta is also very active on TikTok with over 100,000 followers. He uses his platform to answer critical cryptocurrency questions like, quote, "What would happen if someone bought all the Bitcoin?" End quote. Schebesta, who previously described Terra as a beast to be reckoned with, lost $20,000 of his personal fortune during the collapse of the lunar Terra ecosystem. The self-proclaimed crypto king is currently renting out his castle after stepping down as CEO of the firm he founded. His firm is being sued by Australian securities regulators, and the over-the-counter trading desk he sold ended up being used as a banking conduit for an alleged fraud. For more informed news, follow us on Twitter and Google News, or subscribe to our YouTube channel.